If you need a way to flip your bread or build an online business, you don't want to miss our live interest meeting and Q&A happening Wednesday, August 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern, hosted by The Ticket Blog. We're breaking down what's inside our exclusive seller community and how you can start building a profitable online ticket business from scratch. Tap in live for a special offer, answers to your questions, and the info you need to get started. Go to thetickettrap.com and join us. Again, thetickettrap.com.
Click the link at the top line of the description to get started now. So let's move on to the next story, because it actually falls into the same vein as this story, right? So Brian Mcknight, right? Brian Mcknight is furious right now. He's going after Jaguar right now. I think it was April. Back in April, Brian Mcknight, through the court, let us know that he was going to be suing Jaguar Wright, right? And accusing her of spreading absurd lies online. He goes on to say she made up serious allegations, like claims that he abused his wife, hired sex workers just to harm them as he was freaking off with them, right? The lawsuit calls Jaguar Wright's claims totally false and damaging, and says she launched the attacks on purpose to wreck his name. Yeah, so he clapped back here with a lawsuit, but he's having problems serving her. He goes on to say that he has, had a process server try to serve Jaguar Wright on about 6 or 7 different occasions, and they're saying stuff like the blinds were open or closed, and when they did get someone, they said Jaguar Wright doesn't live here. Now, Brian Mcknight is trying to go another route. He is trying to serve her through the newspaper. Now, under California law, if someone's been ducking a service person, means someone that's going to serve you for a lawsuit, if all options fail, a judge can say, cool, run an ad in the paper once a week for 4 weeks. Now, the judge is going to decide whether or not Mcknight can publish, his service of the lawsuit to Jaguar Wright in the legal classifieds. Now, if so, Jaguar might see herself in a Sunday paper, one day out in Los Angeles, as if she needed any more fame. Again, one of those situations where you better be able to back it up. You better be able to back it up. Now, a little bit of the history, if you guys don't know, you probably know, maybe you don't. Jaguar Wright, when she was always kind of been around, but she really came onto the scene when Malik B passed away. And, I forgot what was going on, but his name wasn't being handled right. And she reached out to us and said she wanted to come speak about it, the situation. And, it was an interview at that time that went over 1 million views. It was a powerful interview. It's really Jaguar Wright like you've never seen her on any other channel. It was just a different type of Jaguar Wright, in my opinion, right? Since then, Jaguar Wright has blown up to be very, very famous and said a lot of stuff about a lot of people. Brian Mcknight is going to force her to prove it. That's essentially what he's saying. He's going to say, all right, you said it all. Prove it. Because that's the only how Jaguar Wright has a chance of winning this lawsuit, is being able to prove what she said was true. That's the only way. And essentially, at the end of the day, Brian Mcknight is like, you're going to waste a lot of thousands of dollars. And you're trying to make a point. I get it. But lawsuits really, but here's the thing too. You when you're suing someone, obviously you're looking for something monetary. Maybe he said, F it. I just want to make a precedent, because you get a judgment. Let's say if you get a judgment against Jaguar Wright, she don't show up. She refused to answer. Let's say if it's $1 million. Well, how are you going to collect it if she don't own no properties? If she doesn't own any bank accounts? It's just going to be a piece of paper. So this is why people do their due diligence before they file lawsuits, and they check to see if anybody has properties and businesses that they can attach. Same thing was going on with Dame Dash. Something that could be attached in lieu of a sale or refinance, they can be cashed out and get at least some of the balance. So, in my opinion, I don't know Jaguar Wright's financial situation. I'm not gonna act like I do, but maybe maybe she does own something. Maybe there's something out there that he sees as value, or he is trying to, not cash in, but set a precedence and say, look, you're not gonna lie about me. Because at the end of the day, bro, at the end of the day, right? You have the right. People have the right to do whatever they want to do, right? In defending their name and defending their brand. You have the right to do that. I don't, but I do feel like it's become a trend, and you feel like people can say what they want, and us as the interviewer, we have no way of really knowing the truth. And there's been a lot of interviews that we have done and haven't put out, and a lot of interviews that we have turned down. Best believe if somebody were to come to us and say that's false, we have to act and say, all right, look, we gotta either take this down. We have to remedy that situation. That's never really happened. If anything, the people that's interviewing, they didn't like something or the way they interview, whatever the case may be, and they would hit us up and we have to adjust something here or there, or take this out here or there. But most of the time it's uncensored, and we never had anybody that's been talked about that said, oh, this was a lie, take this down. And no, maybe we didn't hit that radar, whatever the case may be. But we try to get to the truth as much as we can and put the truth out as much as we can, because we're not there. But I always tell people, like, even like the Tasha K situation, that's a situation where, it is wild because it could have been avoided. Ego got involved with Tasha. And maybe, she feels like now that, look, as a result of doing what I did, I became even bigger. But that's to the tune of paying Cardi B, what, $10K a month? Forever? Fuck that. Even if you was making 20, 30, that's just too much money to be paying somebody, man. And she had to go that route because she didn't want to sell her businesses. So she had to go the route of a chapter, I think at 11, where you maintain your business and you pay back the individual, so that is what it is. We'll see how this ends up in the next days and weeks. Brian Mcknight is trying to serve Jaguar Wright in a newspaper, man. I haven't seen Jag. Maybe she came across my radar, but she got to come out to us. You know what I mean? One day, I haven't never met her in person, but one day, y'all see that. But it's your brother Oga, man. Hip Hop News Uncensored. Hit the thumbs up on the video, and as always, if you want to advertise on this channel, email me right now, ogod@hiphopun.com. That's ogod@hiphopun.com to get your brand in front of hundreds of thousands of people. A direct connection. You ain't gotta, go through no long lines. You ain't gotta jump through no hoops. You get a direct. You deal with me, and we get it up. We get your content up as fast as we can. Obviously, there's other people that are advertising, but we do still have a few slots open. So hit me, ogod@hiphopun.com. I appreciate y'all.